It's Alex in the house, Coyote Star Astrology.
What up, guys?
What up? What were you talking about? I came in at the end. I know, but this is the most crazy astrology in a ever.
We
But in
were
a cool
talking
way.
we were talking about that. I didn't even plan it, but I realized as soon as of course we're both on here. The moon's conjunct the North Node, Venus is conjunct Saturn. There's Mars opposite Pluto, square the new moon. It's like, what is there not to talk about? There's so much.
So I have a question because I've looked through so many charts in history to find Venus to be with Saturn this long, and it's like kind of not easy to find, nor is it like I haven't been able to find it. And I find
Wow.
all the I found, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction all the way going back 3,600 BC, right? Like in that time period.
Uh-huh.
And that took a long time to figure out. It's at 0 degree, right? That we're about to have next year. But to find Venus to be with Saturn for this is the third week. And they've just been together, right? And then they just are finally conjuncting. And then Venus doesn't even go into Aries this week yet. It's like this is the longest Venus Saturn conjunction, and it's happening with Mars opposite Pluto for the third time. This is the third Venus Saturn conjunction.
Yeah.
With the same week with a new moon that at least the new moon's happening after these, but it's like what for you has come up that you feel is maybe different about this Venus retrograde? Because I'm a guy, so like I just went through the Mars retrograde, but like as a woman, to have Venus and Saturn together for so long, that would just feel so weird, I feel.
Well, for me personally, by the time she got to Saturn, I was actually ready for her to be with Saturn because I
Hmm.
was so fucking confused by the Neptune dance she had that sometimes Saturn feels relieving. And I absolutely had my quintessential Saturn disappointment moment about
Mm.
something that I had ideals about. Like that happened. But I think because she's at the North Node and with Mars now trying the North Node ruler, in the last week, I kind of was able to engage into acceptance around it. But I
Mm.
do feel it is crazy that she's hanging out, especially at that critical last degree, because that transition from Pisces to Aries, can we just agree it's got to be one of the most dramatic transitions of a cusp in the whole zodiac? You're going from the literal fucking spirit world over the falls into fire, like with fucking Venus and Neptune together. Like what the fuck? Like it's just so wild.
With Mercury that had retrograded and then got, oh, I'm not gonna conjunct you two. I'm gonna go back. It's like I'm gonna get really close, but no. So it was the fact that all three were together on the North Node was like, what? And Mercury's not gonna conjunct them, but Venus is gonna go on the other side of Saturn, and so Saturn's just been watching everybody and everybody come pass through me, and then same with the North Node, and then Neptune's getting everybody from Pisces, watching them retrograde over, and then watching them now come into Aries. I'm like, this is that you're right. It's like how we're split screen right now. It's not that simple. It's like I always tell people, I'm like 0 Aries, you have to go all the way around to 360 degrees to Pisces, but Pisces jumps off the universe and then starts back in. It's like it's different.
That's where the baby's head crowns and
I
comes
know.
out. What
Oh,
the
that's actually, I'm glad you said that because, Sophia's about to have our second child in June. And so I will never experience that personally, but I can be as empathetic to it as like once the baby drops at like 32 to 36 weeks, it's like sitting on that fucking down there cervix and all that. And just, it's like heavy. And it's to be a woman and have a baby is a gnarly experience. And it's not just a simple process. It's very much like this Venus Saturn. Like it takes these weeks. And so it is kind of like maybe the better Venus stuff we've waited for because it's getting the patience, and already in Pisces is patient. So it's like making real dreams come true by really weeding out the bullshit, like thoroughly. It's like the most thorough transit I think we've ever seen with Venus. Because we always get the lighter Venus stuff, and Venus Pluto is intense in Capricorn, that retrograde at the beginning of 2022. But I still felt like that was like,
It's been
this
nothing
one's
compared to
different.
this.
Yeah.
Because this one happened at the nodes, so then there's also, it's bringing up everyone's karmic shit from past lives, and Venus retrograde is already karmic as fuck. And it's just like, oh my god, it's it's that surreal feeling. It's just like been so, and I'm in fucking Mount Shasta, so it's been like fucking,
Oh, so you're that's triple. That's 10 times
dude,
normal feeling.
dude. And my Neptune line runs through it.
Oh
So
my
I did
God.
this on purpose. I feel like I've been high on acid for 3 months, literally. And I haven't been. Like, it's been fucking insane.
So you're just in a constant flashback all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dude,
That's
there's
wild.
like shit like this. Like, there's these, this is gonna sound like a weird turn, but it relates. So there's these weird bugs. Some people are gonna know what I'm fucking talking about. Okay, you don't see them that much, but they're like these beetles, and they're black, and they have these red lines, and they link together and line up in these big stacks. They're really weird. They're not
Mm.
that common, and my childhood home had them. And when you have them, they're like an infestation. Like, they're fucking everywhere. And my childhood home had these in the front yard, but I've never seen them anywhere else.
Hmm.
While Mars has been retrograde in my fucking fourth house with all this crazy shit, the house I'm living in now has the infestation of the same bug, and they're like crawling outside. And so I'm having all these like weird childhood memories of like, oh my God, I haven't seen these since then. And they're like
Fuck.
everywhere. And like all this childhood shit with my mom has been coming. Like, it's like just that like weird Pisces, like, am I back in time? Like, did I like quantum jump into like this other reality? Like, box elder bug. Somebody knows the fucking name. Jesus Christ! My whole life I haven't known what the fuck those things are. Now I
That's
do.
crazy. Are they?
Yeah.
They're not cicadas. That's like in Texas in the South where they make that noise. I know which ones you're talking about. I don't know the name of them though.
No, they're just they. And the
They
funny thing
just
is that they have sex all day. They're literally like they've got to be ruled by Scorpio because all they do is have sex, and they're everywhere. They're
and
literally
they've got
everywhere.
black and red. That's exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that's really weird because it is the karmic stuff that's the most extreme. It's North Node Saturn, but the last North Node Saturn was in Scorpio, ironically enough. And when Venus passed by it, I looked it up. It was just a day and a half. Like it was just like bye.
Mm-hmm.
But this is this extended. We're on the third week, and
Mm-hmm.
then that's not even counting the other time when it passed by it when it was slowing down before the
Yeah.
retrograde into Aries. So it's like really it's kind of a month long over these last 3 months of just everything's trying to move forward. All the planets are direct. Like Mars is done with the retrograde. It finally came into Leo. It's still in shadow. Mercury's about to come out of shadow. It's like everything's about to finally get going, and then Pluto will retrograde May 4th. I'm like, this is such a
That's
cuckold
weird.
astrology.
Do
Like,
you would you agree? Because this is what I've been feeling that like next week it's gonna feel like we fucking actually rebirthed because there's such a sense of completion next week. Like,
yes.
Venus comes into Aries finally. Mercury finishes post shadow tomorrow. Venus and
Yep.
Saturn finish the North Node thing. Mars finishes. It's like all this shit finishes. But then, like you're saying, Pluto's like, oh, psych, and then fucking goes retrograde at the same time. It's like so trippy.
Yeah, I mean, I would say with my comedic style, because we're going back to with the nodes back like 2006, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's when I was hitting hot rails of meth. So it feels like finally, like the blowtorch is good, the meth, it's crystal, and it's like woo! That's what I feel like's coming after just like being like stuck like in bed, like stoned or something, like, when's it coming, bro, for so long.
Yeah.
I know nobody will
100%.
relate to that, but like if you were lived in 2006 and you were young, that was normal. So
I
like,
that wasn't my party of choice, but I was doing my own devious
right.
things at that time.
Right. So like, but that's what I think people kind of have to do because that North Node Saturn's on a node and Venus on that node. And so you kind of have to go back to where were you with that node and it's Pisces. So it's like, if I was still doing meth, this would be the worst time of my life.
Mhm.
It's so opposite. I'm in the opposite. Like I'm about to have my second kid. I'm married. I I'm not doing drugs for like, 12 years now or whatever, 13 years. Like if I would have stayed on that path and not, and I remember getting the biggest memo on acid at that same period where North Node was at these degrees, when it was like, you're going too far with your psychedelic use. Like I was doing, I was just blasting off. Like it was like another drop. What? It's one hitter of acid only. No, fucking one more. Let's see. I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna do 8 grams of fucking mushrooms.
Yeah,
Like
I'm absolutely certain that the universe kept us from meeting at that time because we would probably
we
both be
would, I
dead.
know, we would have been fucked over. But that's where it's bringing up those rave days that you and I both had,
Mhm.
and we're not in that, which I
Yeah.
think is interesting because it's almost like the messages that you got that for anybody out there in your life, they mean something for this moment. And I don't think we know it fully yet, even. But I think that we know why we went through the events of that time period, 2005 into six, but especially that North Node Pisces. And it made me think of the music scene. I know you and I love rock music, so like the like punk rock had kind of died finally, and it really got to metalcore and emo and screamo, and it was like epic. Like the music got really hard and very
So
emotional, and
good.
like and talking about the stuff most people are too afraid to talk about in
Totally.
relationships and all that. And so I've been thinking about that too. It was like, wow, I'm watching all those bands right now. They've all come back and they're all mature. And that's where the Saturn's coming in of like, it's you have to have matured from that period. And it's also saying goodbye to that period.
Mhm.
So even me saying, "Oh, it feels like a hot rail moment," like coming. That's kind of where it's like I have to actually let go of that, and that I shouldn't even be bringing that up anymore because it's not even relevant anymore in my life. It's kind of saying goodbye to that. So there's
Are you
attachments that are that small, but also that don't define us anymore, and to mature in a really intense way.
right? I mean, I know we don't have long, but I want to know how are you doing with these alignments? Like you're kind of well, I mean, I am too. My Venus is all fucked up right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I think we're all being hit, but I mean, yeah, I mean, like I'm a Sun zero Leo with a Pluto at 29 Libra, and uh, I Uranus is about to conjunct my Moon at 28 Taurus, and then I have Mars on my Sun, Pluto opposed my Sun, Mars squaring my Pluto, Mars squaring my Pluto, Pluto squaring my Pluto, the sun squared by Pluto, the sun couldn't or opposed by Pluto, then it's squared by sun, and then it's squaring Pluto. Right? Like I was like, but I'm used to it because I've been through Pluto opposite my sun for the last couple of years, and
Mm.
then this is my third time with the Mars aspect, and then the last time Mars retrograded in Leo was 2009 in December, and it stopped at zero Leo for 3 weeks in March into March of 2010. So I'm equipped.
Yeah. I'm excited for you with Uranus on your moon.
Yeah, that one, I mean, that one I'm kind of approaching like, well, I've been through all this other hard shit. I'm more like, well, maybe I can't hoard as much because I'm a dad now. So like, like I have to make room for more things in life and I don't need this or I don't need that. So it's like getting rid of the hoarder part of my moon and Taurus, or it's getting me to not even appreciate all these new things. Like I just appreciate so much time when I'm like with my wife and my daughter, my two girls, and then the Uranus is my son coming in because you'd think that'd be normal since I'm a guy. I have a brother. Like I grew up like with a brother and my dad and all that. But I'm in a girl world now where I'm a girl dad, and it's almost kind of like I really kind of have to balance out this whole new world of like having a son, even though that's what I know how to do probably better. But I'm enjoying being a girl dad and learning and growing and doing hair ties and what outfits. And I look at my wife and she laughs at me. I'm like, how do you put this on? What is this? Is this a moo Is this a fucking dress? I don't know. Like to learn the whole girl thing has been insane for me. Like,
Yeah.
wow, it's been fun. And to watch my daughter laugh and talk to me and just she loves her dad as so much. I'm like, oh my, I'm like, that's what's got me through, to be honest with you, is like being a
Yeah.
dad. Like
I
my little
love that. I
so
love that. And having a son is going to be its own whole host of lessons in and of itself too, that is going to be so healing for your journey as a
yeah,
man in your life. And I'm going to make a prediction though for you with
please.
Uranus hitting your moon. I mean, yes, I agree. It of course is going to bring up stuff around money and how you've your relationship with material security, but when I see a person with moon in the 10th, one of the things I always associate with that placement is somebody that is usually somehow like iconically driven in their career. Like there's something almost, I don't know why, but almost kind of like Uranian sometimes about the moon in the 10th. In the sense that there's like an intuitive genius that they have about their career, and Uranus is going to upgrade that. So after
I
you work
yeah.
through after you work through whatever the money stuff is, which of course comes from like survival concerns, there's gonna be, I think, a shift you could never expect and we could never expect in your career, that's gonna just like whoop, just like, but probably in a work smarter not harder way, because we know that you need to be with your family right now. So
Yeah, so I don't know if you've noticed, I have taken my public life way far back. Like, I am not on YouTube a lot. I'm not on social media much. Like,
yeah.
people only are like seeing me on High Vibe. That's it. Like,
Hmm.
I'm not doing big shows like Deep Love Tarot and doing everything. Like, I have pulled back massively. And I've been feeling like Uranus has a whole other direction for me of how to do this career. And I'm just going to let it surprise me instead of try and think that I can figure it out. It's more like,
Yeah.
no, it's going to just randomly come together somehow. And so
Yep.
I'm just kind of in this like holding space to let Uranus just like throw me across whatever direction it's going to do and just like put me wherever it's supposed to go.
Totally. I mean, I can't wait to see what it is, but like you're saying, I wouldn't even try to guess, because
Yeah.
it does that's not how it works
Right.
with
I agree. No, so you're right. It's an upgrade and it's gonna be something super way different and it's gonna blow my mind first, but it'll blow other people's minds more, I think, because it's 10,000. It'll be like, what is he doing now?
totally.
But
Totally.
yeah, and I think it will be smarter, not harder. And I think that relationship with money is what everybody's gonna go through though at the end of this Uranus Taurus. Like money is so weird. It's like one of those things that makes everybody act weird. And I've noticed the Uranus Taurus really like I've not when you and I were younger, we didn't all we thought of is like how cool of a person you were. I never gave a fuck about if you made money or not as a person. Like that's just who I am. I've never
Hmm.
my friends, anything. I've never seen like people like assessing people like, well, how do they make their money? How did they do? I'm like, are you like psychotic? Like,
Hmm.
like I've never seen over the last 7 years, I've just seen it pop up more and more. And then right now, all I see is everybody talking about, well, buy this crypto or buy that one or buy this. And I'm like, Uranus is not going to tell you what it's going to do.
Yeah.
So I've
Yeah.
just like backed out. Like, I know whatever I need to just make through and make sure that my family's okay and that I can just keep doing my work. That's all I care about. I'm not in a
Mhm.
I need more to buy something or to get something. I'm like, I have everything that I need to get the workout. That's all I care about.
Totally. Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Yay.
Yeah,
It's so
well,
good to see your
and
face.
I'm
We haven't
happy.
talked.
I'm happy that you're having psychological like breakdowns, like you're on acid and Mount Shasta during this astrology with the eclipses. I did. It's so weird. I'm not bullshitting. It's on my YouTube way back in the day. During the eclipses in Scorpio with Saturn in Scorpio during the North Node Saturn, I'm at Mount Shasta.
Shut up, really?
Swear to God. So I've been through a North Node Saturn conjunction at Mount Shasta in a water sign with the eclipses. And
No.
I thought I was having acid flashbacks and I was tripping balls. I was tripping balls. And then I had some fan. I don't even remember the guy's name or anything. He told me, "Oh, well, you're coming up through Oregon. Stop by my like ranch." I'm like, "Okay." And it was like one of the world's largest grows for fucking psilocybin.
Oh, nice.
Well, when you're coming off that Shasta psychedelic crazy vibe, that's the last thing I wanted to hear. He didn't tell me that till I got there, of
Oh.
course. So I'm like surrounded by fungus everywhere. I could smell it. It's like in my fucking nasals. It's like, ah. And I remember being like, this is not what I was prepared for.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
I mean, he was super cool, and I got through it, but I was like, wow, like that was a that I remember being like, oh, I'm good, I made it through, and then it was like, oh no, you didn't, motherfucker. But
Right.
I don't think that that's going to be now. That was so North Node Saturn and Scorpio, and I think why everybody's so obsessed right now about like what's behind the door, the Epstein files, all that dark shit was happening in that Saturn Scorpio with the North Node, all that. And so now all this Pisces stuff is like, okay, it's been backdoored so much, people can feel like people are avoiding it. We were supposed to get Epstein files, we were supposed to get this, and nothing's happening. It's
Mhm.
Pisces, it's this North Node Saturn Venus, and people trying to protect their Saturn, their reputation at all costs and keep it as hidden and as long, or even the courts prolonging it, or there's all these secret things in the background trying to make everybody divert attention away and do all of that. And I think people need to pay more attention to that because I think it's like, I don't think we'll ever fully get everything, but you know, it's also not the way you want to live your life is just be focused on that shit all day. I think this is about getting back to our spiritual core and our spiritual missions are being more than upgraded. It's like the actual like biggest part of the mission is magically on the page we didn't know that still was left to turn to see that we all are getting a mission that we never knew but we knew coming down here that we're going to
Yeah.
remember.
100%. 100%. And you know what I just fucking realized? I don't know why I didn't realize it. Is that fucking Black Moon Lilith is on the other side.
I know. It's been going from like Libra to Virgo and then went to Scorpio and then, you know, it's
She's
been
right on my
that.
Venus right now. She's
Oh, in
partying.
Scorpio. Okay.
Hmm.
With
Yeah.
and your Pluto.
Hmm. Yeah.
I
Wild
think what's also
times.
interesting is Jupiter's about to get out of shadow. Like it's gonna feel like things are fine. Nothing's felt like it's moved forward for 5 months. Like this has been the 5 months of just like a big flop.
That's what I'm saying. I think next week when everything starts to kind of wiggle free, it's gonna feel like I think it's gonna feel like, I mean, the sun is almost like being reborn right now from Pluto, and
Yeah, I agree.
it's getting the fuck out of Cancer. Mars was in Cancer for fucking ever,
I
and now it's the ruler of the sun. So it's like the sun is being reborn. An aspect of every person's soul is literally going over the falls of Neptune, fucking Pisces, and being reborn in Aries, Leo, fire. But you have to surrender. You have to literally die
yeah.
to get there. Because I've been telling people this, like, people think that Scorpio is death, and like it is on the 3D level, but Pisces is real death.
Yeah,
Pisces
it's
is when
the
you
end. It's the end of the
actually go back.
chapter. It's the end of the book. It's the end of the book. It's the last page of the book.
Right. So we're all at the last page of the fucking book.
Right. And and especially that Neptune's dispositing the North Node still, and it's in Aries. So now it's like you have to end and then allow the surrender for the new book to show up in the new title, and even all how we identify the world, because that 0 point Aries identifies the world. It's Aries is about what we identify in our heads. With Neptune there, it's almost like we don't know how to write the story, and that's okay. I think it's like be easy with yourself and remember that it doesn't have to look this certain way. Like just start from one little step to the next step to the next thing. It's like the fun of Aries. Aries is such a great sign because it's like it's all about the very beginning of the fucking story and the adventure. And like there's more to play around with. And Saturn and Neptune coming together, they're not going to conjunct yet, but they're going to damn well be conjunct. I mean, like, it's like we can really start to really create completely new stories. This is where people can really get out of their subconscious patterns, especially the self-defeating ones, the ones where it's like, I always don't get the thing, I always don't have this. So anybody saying, I never will get the job I want, I'll never have a relationship, I'll never, it's quite the opposite that's coming in if you're
Totally.
doing the work, you know?
Absolutely.
So everybody freaking out about things, that's total end of Pisces or 12th house transit too. It's like everybody freaks the fuck out. Like, oh my God. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's part of the end of a story. Is like, I get upset when I like a TV show and it's the last episode and the final. I get sad before. I'm like, I want there to be more.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, it's healthy because if it just kept going, I wouldn't leave the couch and I'd watch that show for till eternity.
Mm-hmm.
So God's asking us to get off of our spiritual fucking couch that we've been on for a long time.
100%. And
You know.
real quick, because I gotta run. I know you do too. I just want to hear real quick. What do you think Saturn Neptune is gonna be about?
Well, because the last one at zero Aries was literally 6,500 years ago.
Holy shit! Really?
Technically, it was six. Yeah, it was like 6,000. Yep. So it tracks with the cycle of 6,000 years below, 6,000 years above of the Mayan or the galactic calendar.
Whoa.
But it's one half of it. Or you could look at it as a quarter because it's really right. So like we're at the new season of the last 6,000 years of a season. That's three 2,000-year seasons. So to me, it's we'll call it, to be nice, because some people hate me lately because I've been saying it's the end of religion. It's the new religion,
Yeah.
and you'll be listening to bad religion if you can. I'm just kidding. um, that's a band, by the way, for people that don't know. But no, I think it's honestly that we have to have a true understanding because Chiron is in Aries, Chiron and Aries are about to start to conjunct too. So we're gonna have that conjunction. And what I feel is that humanity doesn't know the story, and the trauma and the victim story of humanity being dropped down here by a different story that we were told, and us having to like heal from and surrender to, like, okay, that's what happened. We really are not from Adam and Eve, and we're really not from this kind of like BS expression, and nobody has really known what it is, but it's the beginning of the discoveries of what really defines our world and who we are and why we're here, as far as like the backstory that's not the religious story that they were covering for.
I think you're spot on. That's a super interesting way to look at it. And I think to speak to what you're saying, we've been being primed for that for a while, but it's like it's actually there is going to be a big shift in that direction. But I feel that have you noticed? I don't want to open up this can of worms too deep because like you're right, people get pissed off, but like that there's been this resurgence of the whole born again kind of thing in the last whatever. But
2 years. Jupiter, Neptune, Pisces in 22, so it's going to be 3.
yeah.
And then of course, I keep telling people this. It's so funny because Saturn or Neptune went to 2959 Pisces last year and then retrograded. It went to the very end and then retrograded. So then that reminds me, because Neptune does rule spirituality, not religion. That's more Jupiter. But the Jupiter Neptune conjunction of Pisces happened. But then to follow a Saturn Neptune, the last time that they were in Pisces was 1523. And it was a pope who tried to impose everybody to follow the way the papacy was. And it was after Martin Luther with the Saturn Pluto conjunction in 1517. So we're tracking all the same shit, but it failed, right? So
Yeah.
the funny part though is Saturn and Neptune do not mean a Pisces, meaning it is not revelations that's going to happen. It is not the story that they all think.
Yeah.
And it's going to go into Aries and it's going to be like, wait, what is this? And I think there's going to be a lot of broken hearts of what really is maybe not the full story, but one that we get to go on the adventure to identify and figure out, and the discoveries that will blow our minds. I mean, I think they're going to be ancient discoveries, very relic. There's going to be new relics discovered. There's going to be things that just make religion have to answer the questions that they had to just recently when they found all the letters of the Pope in 1942 who knew about what was happening in Nazi Germany with the Jews and totally lied to the world and said, we don't know, when really they did, and had all the letters, and that got exposed, and Francis didn't say anything about it. And we're in the same transit with Uranus leaving Taurus into Gemini. In 1939, a new pope came in, and then the last time that a new pope came in with Neptune in Aries and Pluto in Aquarius at 2 degrees, not 3, but it was Neptune at 0 Aries, Pluto in Aquarius, and North Node Saturn conjunction in Leo was 1534. And that pope was the one who created the Jesuits, and the Jesuit pope just died, the first one.
Whoa.
So this one is going to be very much like the World War II Pope, and he's going to be conservative, not liberal. And if you think of Russia, the whole country of Russia, Putin just spouts off Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox Christianity. You have America turning Christian nationalist right now. And so they're going to try and push this shit. And this is, I mean, you and I warned about this shit years ago, telling people like, hey, remember us astrologers are good people, because now you're seeing all these right-wing people, and most of them are Catholics. Candace Owens, all of them, they're attacking astrology. They're saying now, look they used astrology. Now they're connecting the celebrities and the Katy Perrys after this Blue Origin thing. Now they're saying, oh, she's doing astrology. I'm like, oh my God, what? She never brought up astrology.
No, that's super disturbing.
I'm scared. And people
Yeah.
know that I voted for Trump, but I also said for fucking the whole time that the Christian thing I am not down with where they're going, and that's my biggest fear, but I'll take the freedom, but I know we're going to have to deal with this religious fucking craziness. And it just, in the last week, hit that place where I went, this is not going to be an easy thing for spiritual people, because now you have the attack on astrologers going insane, and anything esoteric looked at as Illuminati, which actually we were against the church, like the original Illuminati. That's what the purpose was, because they were lying and they were raping kids and they were doing bad stuff. And they weren't following the divine sciences, but they were using it, but then they were lying about it to people. So it's like, but that's all coming back up.
It's totally coming back up, and there's
We're
so
going to be
much.
okay, but we're going to have to band together, and then we're going to have to be loud with Neptune and Aries, and with Uranus and Gemini, and with Pluto and Aquarius, and not be afraid to say, shut the fuck up. Like,
Shut
you
the
guys,
fuck up, and
you
also,
know,
like, maybe it's the Scorpio in me, but I would prefer to just like let them fall prey to their own delusion. Like, somebody approached me the other day, super cool guy, and he was talking to me about a project he wants to do to like prove that astrology is real, and he wanted to know if I wanted to be a part of it. And I was like, bro, I don't want people to realize astrology is real. I was like, let them think it's bullshit as long as possible, because the second people start to realize it's real, all hell's gonna break loose. Because it's not gonna, the existential breakdown that will happen for people that aren't ready to realize that, they're gonna come for us, dude. And I don't want, I'm like, fucking stay away, like stay in your
I
corner.
mean, that's where it's going to start, though, is like in the libraries of the Catholic Church, all astrological, all the cathedrals up until the 1200s all had astrological, you know, in
How
the
how
concrete,
did
or
they
not
not
concrete, but
notice that? How
I
did they
know,
not notice that?
and it was when they got rid of the Knights Templar and they killed them all in 1307, and they said no more cathedrals with astrology because the Knights Templar were in the Holy Land and discovering all of the ancient mysticism and everything, and then they started their own money system. And so you have to remember that, like, people think they're being rebellious. Oh, we're going to do this crypto thing. We're going to do that. Oh, you really? But you're praising the Catholic Church. They're going to try and stomp that out.
Mhm.
That's their purpose right now.
Mhm.
And so I see all these people going super right, Christian, nationalistic, without realizing it always fucks you over. And that, for example, Hitler didn't give a fuck about Christianity, but he used it to get everybody to vote for him. And we're
Mhm.
seeing that all over again. And I love Trump, but I don't. When I'm going to call shit out when it's there. And he just now said what Hitler did, like, oh, we're going to let women have babies for $5,000 a kid, and the more kids you have, the better. And we'll start. And then there's a family that he's working with to make an executive order that would literally give them medals. So the state's going to give you a medal for having a kid. Guess who did that? Hitler.
Wow, I guess I don't get shit then.
Well, that's the whole point, right? The incentive's only what now for just women that have big kids, but not single women. And then also, what about the men? And then what about people that just don't want to?
When
Right.
did
So
this happen? When did he say this? Oh,
two
dude,
days ago.
dude, I mean, I'm not happy that that's happening, but I made a prediction on my 6-month forecast that when Saturn went into Aries, I gotta go pull it up now. When Saturn went into Aries and squares Jupiter in Cancer, that women would be outraged about something that the government did, because Jupiter in Cancer is gonna be pissed because Saturn in Aries conjunct Neptune is gonna square it. I predicted that there would be women and mothers outraged about something.
Well, and it's weird because Hitler called it like the family and marriage. I forgot, right? In 1933. And it was
Mhm.
really weird because it was like if you were single and not married, you got taxed extreme. So then they make it to where it's like, and we actually see that now, right? If you're single and you don't have a dependent, you get taxed more. So that actually is something that carried over, but now they're going to go hard on that. And that's
Mhm.
going to make a lot of women pissed. And then, of course, you have the abortion issue, which that's what Hitler did too. They made it hard for abortion, hard to get contraceptives.
Yep.
And but and then what's crazy is they don't want women to work and just we'll pay you, which is socialism, right? It's actually socialism. Like,
Mhm.
don't work, just have babies, and then and live in the kitchen. That was what they said. And if Trump comes out, or if any of the right starts coming out and say it's trad wife life, like work and live in the kitchen, don't do anything else, and just take the $5,000. That's it, $5,000. Fucking trust me, this is my second kid. Fucking like the stroller's $2,000. The insurance co-payment after you have a baby, because it's like $70,000, is like fucking 2,500 or something. So you're already like, sorry, you're just paying for my kid to basically come in. Like, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what's gonna be crazy is that I had to put the facts out there in this last like couple months of like the founders. There was like, all the signatures of the Declaration of Independence, because this is our Pluto return.
Mhm.
Pluto in Aquarius, though, was which founders made it to the top and defined things. They were the Masons, and they were not Christians. George Washington was not a Christian. He wrote about that this nation is not a Christian nation. Benjamin Franklin wrote the same thing. Thomas Jefferson in 1800 did a national prayer, wrote never should happen. It's making people think we're a Christian nationalist nation. It's all National Archives. Same thing with John Adams. He did a national prayer. Worst thing ever. They never wanted this country, and they made it very clear this is not a country that was founded off Christianity. It was founded off deists because they were all Masons, the ones that made it. So there was only about 9 of them that were Masons, but they're the ones that became the presidents, the heads of the government, and all at the Constitutional Convention. All the other signers of the Declaration were not Masons, and they were nothing.
Wow.
This is
Wow.
not so that's why it doesn't say, "In Jesus we trust." Jesus is never mentioned anywhere. They were deists because they were all Masons, and in Masonry, you take every religion away, and you all agree as brothers. We believe in a divine creator, and that will get rid of all of the negative energy between us all. And that's what's going to solve the problems on the planet. Because if you look at the Gaza situation, it's a fucking holy war that's been never stopping between the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims. And we're the ones on both sides doing all of it. And it's really the Christians of this country on the Biden side and the Trump side that fucking have their little, what they're doing is they're like, we're nice to Israel. You know why? We want them to eventually fall so we can get the Holy Land. And then you have Saudi Arabia being like, yeah, we're cool too, but we want the Holy Land. But America, we'll be cool until the door opens. And then whoever takes it, then no bad blood until that moment.
Yeah.
That's what's happening right now that people are not paying attention to. The anti-Semitism is through the roof right now. The anti-Islamophobia is through the roof, or the Islamophobia is through the roof right now.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like acting like it's no big deal when actually this is not fucking cool because people aren't realizing it's the Christian aspect that we're the ones who killed over 1 million people during the same fucking 9/11 style bullshit that was of the COVID kind of transits, right? With the North Node and Gemini and all that shit. And here we are again now funding Ukraine and all of that death that's happened there. And then we're fucking funding Israel and we're doing all of that. But at the same time, we actually kind of, I believe secretly, the US government is just doing that to have whoever is closer to the place and friends who has the Holy Land, you have a faster way to get in whenever they fall.
Well, that would make sense.
And because the Knights Templar, this brings back Knights Templars like wanting to get back into the Holy Land and win, or Christians' idea of it, because they lost to the Muslims. The Muslims kicked their ass out of there multiple times. So the
Totally.
idea of them trying to go after Iran right now and then blaming everything on that, it's all a holy war. And that's the problem, is that we're going to have to be in a world where, I'm sorry, but I guess it's freedom of religion, but really we should probably start being like, you keep your God at home and stop judging and stop making your decisions off war, killing people. We're spiritual people. We're here not to bring harm, but good. And
Mm-hmm.
it's all under the name of, all you're seeing in the last week is Christ is king. Christ never wanted to be called king, ever.
No, exactly.
And so, what's sad is the spiritual community jumped on that train because they couldn't monetize their tarot cards. And so, like, it's people like you and I who are still around because we're the OGs, been around, and there's other astrologers and tarot people that have been around a long time, been doing this for over decades, right? But the ones that just couldn't be the next TikTok influencer have just been like, well, I guess I'm going to this whole Christian thing, and I'm going to say I'm born again, and I was with the devil because I didn't make any money, and my life went to shit. No, you went through what's called an awakening, and you couldn't handle that shit, bitch. You know?
Well, yeah, and any when you start working in these realms, any shadow just gets magnified. And yeah, so if they were in it for superficial reasons, then that just got magnified, and then they got fucked, and then they got scared, and then they ran to Jesus because they got fucking scared.
I know, and that's what was the hardest part is like I have nothing against Jesus. I have everything against the church and the institution
You
and
don't
the
have to
men.
explain that to me. You know that, but
Right,
I feel
and then
you.
I know you're the same way that it's that anybody who's done a little history in astrology knows these dudes made up the religious part of it
Hmm.
and used astrology in paganistic aspects and sold that and repackaged it into a story that literally like everybody. That's why I made an article. I'm like, do you guys all know that you're using astrology for your fucking Easter? Like I mean, like come on, like you're waiting for the full moon to hit and waiting for the Sunday after, like just to make sure you're not on the Jewish calendar, which is Passover.
Yeah,
That's the only way, like that, and that because you wanted to separate from that, and you're using astrology, so then you call it, oh, then that's when he was resurrected. When that's not even it's just there's no evidence that it's not even a date that could be that way, and you're using
yeah.
astrology.
I'm gonna say something super controversial, but it's just fucking true. I can guarantee that you and I have a deeper relationship with Jesus than most Christians. I mean, I know I do. I
Yeah, because when we were in our past life in Egypt, and we were behind the pharaohs, and we were the magi, and we were watching these 13-year-old pharaohs fuck up, and we're like helping them. I remember Jesus coming by and saying what up, and we taught him some shit, and he was cool as fuck. And then he fucking said, "I'm out later, guys," and we were like, "All right, bye." He's like, "Have fun with your 13-year-old pharaoh running the show." I'm like, "No worries, bye."
oh, those are the days, the Library of Alexandria days.
If people don't know, that's how Alex and I met past life. Was we were these magi that had crazy young pharaohs that had to project that they were the pharaoh, but we were doing all the work and all the magic and keeping all the old esoteric shit together. And it was hilarious and it was fun, but there were moments when it's like this fucking 13-year-old, we can't get him to get outside and look like he's strong at all or teach him any of this shit. He doesn't even understand anything. He's inbred.
Yeah, every time I see you, I like think of you more in Egypt than I do in this reality. It's
Me, same
weird.
with every time I connect with you, it's always like back to Egypt. I'm always like back to Egypt, like back to Egypt, and for me, it's always like in this like we had a secret passage, like there's the throne room with the pharaoh, but like we like had like these cool secret passageways, and just like it would be like how we used to hang out when we were in Topanga and we watched Chiron. Well, we couldn't see it, but we were the night that Chiron left Pisces into Aries. So that's interesting because we were talking about that earlier, that transition. And I remember being like, thank God that Chiron Pisces is over. But it was like where we just hang out in a room and we just talk about spiritual things and going through things and kind of like this world's fucking crazy. And even then it was crazy and fucking the pharaohs and shit. But like we actually had all this cool like knowledge and trying to figure it out. And there was not a lot of nobody there to kind of be like, hey guys, like this is how we do it. Like you kind of figure it out. And that's how we've had to do it this life too. You just kind of roll
It
with
just
it.
fucking picked right up where we left off.
Straight up.
Hell
And then
yeah.
and it was edgy, but it was fun. And I just remember it was just like it was like so bright outside, but once you're in the pyramid and the temple, it's like so dark.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? Like where it's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, there's that show outside there. Oh, it's fucking hot out here. It's got
Oh my
fucking
god, dude.
sand everywhere.
Oh man, I fucking miss you, dude. I
Same
gotta
here.
hop
Oh, I
off.
mean, and we used to go at the end of seventh ray all the time too. And actually, you bought me dinner. I don't know. That was what 6, 7 years ago, and you bought me dinner there, and you knew my moon and Taurus would try and buy it. You and Danielle, and fucking like had to go get the fucking waitress and pay for it before I could even know.
We wanted to take you out.
I know, but like it was like so like nobody's ever done that for me. Where they like went out of it. You're like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and it's like fucking fighting the waitress to make sure that it's all paid for. Me, my mood. You're like, but you're moving to fucking Taurus. I'm like, fuck.
Well, that's why we did it. I was like, no one takes David out. We need to take him out. He does so much for people, and no one fucking does it. And so we did, and it was beautiful. For those that don't know, Into the Seventh Ray is this like fucking magical restaurant in
It is.
Topanga.
only magical restaurant in all of Southern California.
It's like a place out of time. It's like a fairy wonderland, and it's just a trip. And yeah, we took David there. It was fucking
And
awesome.
it's on a beautiful creek, and it has an amazing spiritual shop in it. So like when you're done eating, you can get tarot cards, you can get a book, you can get crystals, you can get it's fucking
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah, the bookstore is called the Spiral Staircase. It's very
Hmm.
cool. It's very cool.
Yeah, somebody had mentioned it, and I'm like, oh yeah, Alex and I've been there before. Of course, you've
Yeah.
been there a lot more, but
Yeah. Yeah, well, I used to live right down the road. I used
yeah,
to
and then you worked at that one place that was next door to it.
yeah, I worked pretty much everywhere in Topanga.
I know. I remember one time I went to your work when you were when you were at work.
Where?
Right next door, like like the seventh ray's there. Then you get on the street, then you just make a. It's just like this. It's like that restaurant that's like right next to it to the right, just a little bit down the road. And I went in and like I don't know, I ordered food or something and sat at the fucking bar or the table or whatever. Fucking
You came when I worked at the Mexican place? Really?
yeah, the Mexican place. That's it. Yeah, that's fucking it. Yeah, you
Oh
don't.
my, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was like 2018, 2019. Yeah, it was like a long time ago.
Oh, that's hilarious. I was probably so stoked that you came to see me.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was like the second time we met, or the first. It was one of the
Yeah.
first times we met. It was like something like that. It was something very. It was a very weird like moment. It was like very like, oh yeah. But
Yeah.
we had no we had met prior to that. We had talked for so long because I remember I will never repeat any of the stories, especially like Topanga has stories just about a lot of the stuff going on in the world. Topanga, those some of those celebs went there to try and get cleansed of the shit that they went through.
Yep.
Um, um, you know, it's sad, but it's
Topanga's shifted a lot. The fires, there's been a very big energetic shift in that area, and that's why I had to leave. I love Topanga. I'm still a guardian of that place, and I'll always return. But there's a really crazy energy in LA right now.
yeah. I mean, I just did Conscious Life Expo there recently, and it
How was
was
that?
well. What's cool is like the energy inside has chilled the fuck out. So, because I don't know if you remember when we did 2020 there,
Hmm.
there's so many spiritual people, and the energy's so thick that like you walk in there, and not actually, it's like a little bit worse than Shasta's, like because Shasta's pure energy, and it's just like your own shit, but you're dealing
Yeah.
with everybody else's shit at Conscious Life Expo. There's something about the energy there that shifted, but it also became. It made me realize how many people have bailed out on spirituality over the last couple of years because they like I think didn't want to do the work, right? So like
Mhm.
it kind of brought just the OGs and the gangsters that really do the work all around the world there. But it's LA, it's like they do it right there next to LAX at the old that Hilton. And it's just that energy is just so it just feels like it's dead. Like it literally is gonna be years of a long redo there. Like LA, I feel like they intentionally have just left LA dead. They just want it to just like decay and then tear it all down and rebuild or something. I mean,
Yeah, I feel that. It's like plunging into a Kali Yuga for sure. But I still have some extremely powerful, beautiful, magical friends that have decided to stay and hold it down.
yeah,
And somebody has to. And it's like we're all called to be where we need to be, and you can find magic anywhere. So I'm not shitting on LA because I love LA. I
no,
really fucking
same here.
do. But I'm just speaking to the truth of the shift that's happened because there has
Well,
been a shift.
the Olympics is going to be there in 2028. So it's like what
Whoa.
they've done is they've just let things fall apart. They used COVID to let it fall apart because they're going to build that whole entire new tramway to get to the airport that
Hmm.
also connects to downtown LA. So what
Wow.
they're why that's why if you just follow like from downtown LA to LAX, like every city that's there like Culver City, everything that goes in between there is just rotting because they're just going to mow it down and put like this stuff to be safe. So you'll never pick up a passenger close to the airport. Like that's
Wow.
what they want is like you drop them off at the tram and then the tram goes all the way to the fucking LAX. That's the plan. And it's been in the plans. And I'm not, this isn't a conspiracy. This is actually the plans. And then
Yeah.
that goes to downtown LA because then they're going to have events there. But they just announced that they're going to have events down here at Angel Stadium in Orange County for and then the surfing's going to be at Trestles. And, you know, so they're realizing nobody's going to want to surf because I love Malibu, but what happened with the fires? I can't believe they didn't cover what happened to Topanga, what happened to Malibu. They only talk about the Palisades, and then they talk about, you know, some other parts of LA and the fire. But Malibu got decimated, and the water and the toxicity and the
Totally
beaches,
toxic.
and they haven't even cleaned it up, and they're not even doing anything. They're just letting it rot. I'm like, what is going on?
I know. It's really devastating, honestly.
So, I
Ugh.
mean, I think but this is kind of the Pisces where I've said this to people, and I think there's a good way to kind of end it is, and Michael Luton is the one, God rest his soul, because he passed
Oh,
away. You
Michael.
know,
What?
he
Oh, we don't need to talk about it. Sorry. I'll ask you later.
well, he passed away in like November-ish, or yeah, I think it was around then. It was his time to go.
It was. Well,
Yeah,
clearly, but was it
he just wanted
unexpected?
well, he had like a brain and heart surgery in like 23. And so, and he did pretty well because he was still sharper than, you know, any other tool in the universe. But like, I talked to him a lot, and he just was like, I just want to make it to Pluto and Aquarius and be front row. I have a front row ticket to watch and see what's going to happen. And he made it to the election and saw that. And then, or I think, yeah, he saw that and then bailed, or it was right before it. It was right there. He made it right at that moment at the election.
I loved his posts, man. He was such a good astrologer.
Well, the way he would describe it, which is so perfect, is like, you know, Aquarius with Saturn that we had and all that. When Saturn went to Pisces, like he showed a room that is like from fucking probably like some old reality show of hoarders or something that's just like there's cups everywhere, the blankets on the couch, the fucking coffee tables fucking upside down. Like it's just like with Saturn, Neptune, and Pisces, and especially now we got North Node. It's like Pisces is where we get it becomes like there's too much and we can't deal with it. There's so much happening. It's just like it's the messiest room of all. It's the messiest sign. It's the messiest energy. And I think we have to remember that everything, and I think that was a good example of like, okay, the fires happen and this has happened in LA, but other people are experiencing it in their cities or they're experiencing it in their lives in other ways too. Of this, you just can't catch up because it's so messy. But what we're finally getting to where it's like, God, finally, how many more broom do I need to fucking keep pushing and get all the dirt out of here and the glass? And okay, finally the coffee table straight again. We're getting to that point where it's starting to look like back to it's not going to be so messy and we're not so far behind, because that's the other thing about Pisces. I mean, I'm a 12th house sun, so I know that energy of like I feel like I'm behind. I forgot to do this. I didn't pay that bill. I'm late on the bill. Shit, you know, I'm the king of that. Like I forgot. Fuck, you know what I mean? Like I forgot, right? Like, but that's Pisces. So I think you know this North Node Saturn is like we can clean up this world, we can clean up our lives, and we can get out of this messy feeling and this disconnected feeling, because that's Neptune in Pisces is going to come back. And the Civil War was that coming into Aries. And it's always about a split, but it's to teach awareness and unconsciousness, consciousness and
Yeah,
unconsciousness. And I think we have to
totally.
remember that you have to be easy on yourself still because it's messy, but it's been getting cleaned up in your life. And it's all this energy that we talked about at the beginning of this that's coming online next week will be the first moment where Arnold Schwarzenegger gets a shot of testosterone and goes, ah, yeah.
Yes, the rebirth. Exactly. I'm stoked for it, you guys. We just got to get through this new moon and this fucking last opposition. David, thank you for being down to do a
Yeah,
live tonight. I really miss talking to you,
I
and give my
know.
love to your family.
Of course. I know, like, I know I can't wait for you to meet my daughter. Like,
Oh,
and honestly, like, it's just like
it's so amazing.
you're gonna love her. Like, Sophia's the best mom.
Dude,
Plus,
Sophia's a badass. She's
I
so
know
awesome.
you two would be best friends. Like, it's like she's more Scorpio. Like, she gets it.
She doesn't give a fuck.
I know. I'm like, thank God, because I would never be able to be with anybody that gave a fuck about everything. Like, no, she is like, she actually, that Pisces, I'll be honest, that's something that Leo, I don't have, right? I don't have any Pisces in my chart. She can instantly just be like, and see something before it's happening faster than me. And I'm pretty fast. She's faster than me. And like, this is bullshit, boom, 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 and go after it. I'm like, what? Oh, because she's like got a shit ton of Aries, she's like you. She's got your Aries rising, but she's Venus Aries. She's got Jupiter and Mercury conjunct in Aries. So she's
That's
actually
fucking
more
awesome.
Aries. She only has the sun in Pisces. That's it, Pisces. But she's
Wow.
Miss Aries and she's, Sag moon. So
Hell
Libra
yeah. Well, you got
rising.
a good
And
one. Give
so,
my love to her and the little one. And have a good night, everyone. Thanks,
and
David.
don't freak out in Shasta when it blows.
I'm only here for 2 more weeks.
I know. I don't think it's blowing till next year, so you're good.
Thank God.
I've always said 2026, that Saturn-Neptune is going to be one of the. I mean, we saw, of course, in 1981, the big Mount St. Helens, but I don't think it's one of the sisters in Oregon. I think it's Shasta. And I don't think it's going to be a bad blow, but I think it's going to be like a wake up that
Some
the
movement.
volcano. Yeah, but it's going to relieve the pressure that needs to be relieved in the tectonic plates of where we're at.
Cool. I look forward to it. It'll be exciting.
Shasta's looking after us.
For sure.
The other ones, I'm going to be honest, all the other sisters feel like they're asleep.
That's actually really true.
Like I've been to all them, and then Crater Lake right now is closed for the next 2 years, the deepest lake in the whole world, the fresh water. I'm like, why
That's
are they
weird.
closing Crater Lake?
That's fucking weird.
That is weird because I've
I
been
don't
there since
like
I was a
that.
kid. I don't like that either. It's the most magical thing I've ever seen. It's the biggest volcano in the world with a
I
lake, the
bet.
deepest. Yeah, right? They're closing that for the next 2 years. I'm like, what? But it's weird
fuck?
because I'm like, maybe they're trying to wake her up because the only one that's awake is Shasta. The other ones, there's no man. I don't feel shit. I'll be honest. I feel more from an anthill here in Orange County than I do in Oregon. So
Oh, that's shady. I'm gonna have to look into that. Ooh, I don't like that at all.
I know I just saw the story about a week ago, and I'm like, my Oregon heart was like, oh my, I love Crater Lake. It's the most beautiful thing. I did a solar return there when I was 13 years old.
Oh, that's
So,
nice.
but
All
we'll
right,
talk
guys.
soon. You do great. We have to do this again and a catch up on the other side of all this energy when it's starting to really pop here.
I'm
So,
so down. Hit me up whenever.
for sure.
Thank you. Bye,
Bye.
guys.